Hello everyone. In this session, we want to talk about expression-based audit policy. In previous sessions, we talked about audit policies, and there were a number of basic audit policies, and there were also a number of advanced audit policies. And we looked at how we would trace or track user access based on those policies. We looked at configuring success and failure within the group policy. And then specifically for object access, we looked at going to the folder itself. And on the folder, we selected the person or the group that we wanted to track, the action, which would be the permission. And we then were able to decide whether we want to log that event. And if that event was logged, then we were able to go into Event Viewer and check that event to see whether or not the person had successfully accessed the object or whether they had failed to access the object. In Windows 8 and Server 2012, Microsoft has expanded auditing to include what we call expression-based audit policy. And with expression-based audit policy, we are able to be more specific when we are choosing the device or the user. For example, if I wanted to log an event when a file has been deleted, instead of just choosing the username or the group, what I could do is, with express-based audit policy, is go according to specific criteria. For example, and let's look at this example that we have on screen here, where we add a condition. What we could say is that we want to trace or track the access of a user who belongs to the business section department. So here you can use the logic. You can say that you want to track users who don't belong to that department. And one thing I want to point out here, if we are going to set this expression-based audit policy, we would have to configure dynamic access control in Active Directory Administration Center. And that is something that we are going to be looking at in a future lesson, DAC, where we actually can create claims that we can add to the user's attributes. But for our session today, we're going to be concentrating on how we configure this expression-based policy, where we can specify specific criteria other than what we have been accustomed specifying when we have done object access audit policies, let's say before Server 2012. In this example, we want to monitor for deletions, but restrict auditing to just users who are members of a particular department. So we're going to apply the audit configuration setting using group policy. We want to click on Tools, Group Policy Management. We want to expand the forest, expand the domain, expand adatum.com. We want to come down the list of group policy objects, and we want to right click on group policy objects and select new. And we want to call this group policy object EXP based. So we're going to type EXP BASED, and we want to hit enter here and then click on OK. We want now to edit that policy, so we're going to expand group policy objects. We're going to right click on the policy name and select edit. Let's find the policy, computer configuration, policies, Windows settings, security settings, advanced audit policies. We want to click the down arrow here so we can see the advanced audit policies a little clearer. So we're going to click the down arrow. And we want to expand advanced audit policies. And underneath advanced audit policies would be audit policies. So we want to expand audit policies. And from the audit policies list here, we want to click on object access. And before we do that, let's look at some of these advanced policies that we have that we can trace the user. We have account log on, account management, detailed tracking, DS access, log on, log off, and object access. So we're going to click on object access. And from object access, we want to take one of these policies, which should be audit file system. And we're going to double click on that policy. And we want to configure the audit events of success and also failure. Then we want to click on OK. So we have configured just that group policy. Now, in the group policy management window, over to the left-hand side, we want to click on Global Object Audit Access. And then on the right-hand pane, we want to click on File System. We want to define this policy. And then we want to click on Configure. And we can see here now that we have the dialog box where we can put the condition. But first we have to click Add. And we have to select a principal. So we're going to click on Select Principal. And we're going to type everyone. So we're going to type everyone, EVERYONE, and we want to press Enter here. And we want to click on OK. For the type, we're going to leave it at success. Now let's look at the permissions. We're going to clear all of these permissions by clicking Clear All. And we want to click on Delete, because what we really want to do is to track this person when the person deletes a file or folder. So now we come to the conditions. And we're going to click on Add a Condition, and you can see Add a Condition here in the bottom left of the window of your dialog box. So you're going to click on Add a Condition. And here we're going to leave user, we're going to choose user. For group though, we're going to choose department. And remember, we talked a little bit about dynamic access control, and we said that we will have to set up this department within dynamic access control, which we can configure in Administrative Center. And we said that we will look at that in another session. This time we just want to look at the expression-based policy. And we have here equals to. So we can choose equal to, not equal to, but for example, we're going to say department equal to. We're going to put the value here. So we're going to click on the down arrow and we're going to click business session. So again, in dynamic access control, we would have configured the department. We would have said that we want to choose department as a category, and under department, we would have listed the department names that we wanted, so that when we come here to configure the expression-based policy, we'll be able to select that. So that is the condition. We can do another condition because we can have and or, so we could do a combination of logical criteria for this expression-based policy. So we want to click on OK and OK again and close off the file system property box. So that is our expression-based policy. It allows us to be very selective with our criteria, allows us to add more criteria so that we can actually zone in some more on the tracking of objects. And remember that we are configuring the group policy for advanced auditing. And this is an addition. This expression-based policy is an addition that came with Windows 8 and Server 2012. This is the end of our session on expression-based policy, and I would like to thank you for listening.